I cried in my car for 1 hour, shouting, screaming, grabbing to my steering wheel because I just can't believe that I make this kind of mistake that could alter my life. You are going to get married and your kid is coming out in like 7-8 months and you don't have a stable job, you want to go do sales. I think it's very irresponsible. That's what he said. Then he even told me this thing: if you ever need money, don't borrow from me. How long would it take before I make my 5-figure income? And then she told me, probably not even after 10 years. So even if I work after 10 years, I can't even hit 5-figure income. So when can I make like 100K?
Now you're known to be the real estate marketing guy, right? But before that, what was Adrian? Can you take us back to the day when what he was before, and then the moment he decided to become the real estate agent and the real estate leader we see today?
Let's talk about this. I was an engineer. When I was young, your parents will never ask you, when you grow up, you have to be a property agent.
Yeah.
No one's gonna say that.
Unless the parents are property agents themselves.
Maybe even if they are, like I myself, like I probably don't want my kid to become a property agent.
Oh really?
Yeah, like exactly like me, probably some other things. Like, but then, a lot of people have the kind of like impression like when you grow up, you have to become doctor, lawyer, engineer, accountant, all this kind of like actuarial scientist instead of becoming a salesperson. Because in a lot of people's eye, real estate agent is just a salesperson. So I was kind of like steer into that route, go to university, become an engineer for 2 years.
Which engineering you did?
I was an electrical engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I worked in one of the MNC company for 2 years. And that was the time where I realized the truth, right? I love engineering. I have passion about that. I like technology, how it works, the math, the science, everything. But the truth is, you don't really make much money from being an engineer. I'm just going to say it. Because at the end of the day, it's just an employment. Yeah, back in the day, probably you really make good money because not many people have university degree. Right now, everybody has a degree.
A lot of engineers around.
Yeah, there's a lot of engineers around. So I checked with one of my managers, a very hard question. I just asked her, how long would it take before I make my 5-figure income? And then she told me, probably not even after 10 years. Yeah, that's what she told me. I was like, okay, so even if I work after 10 years, I can't even hit 5-figure income. So when can I make like 100K or something like that, like a month? So that was the time where I think maybe I should pivot and change. I tried to look for in different countries because I studied in Canada. So a friend of mine in Canada is doing quite well, but similar salary, but Canadian dollars. So times 3.
But cost of living also higher in Canada.
Yeah, it's higher too.
Yeah.
And then look into Singapore, like you get similar amount, but then the currency is stronger. So I kind of looked into that. But when I finally got a job offer in Canada at the time, where my friend kind of helped me, something happened. So I kind of was forced to stay in Malaysia.
Oh, what happened?
You know, like a lot of time, like when we were young, you kind of make some decision rashly.
Yeah.
I made that kind of decision where my girlfriend at the time got pregnant.
Oh man.
So you have two choices: whether you continue to go overseas or you just stay and face the responsibility. Right?
How old were you at that time when this
I was
happened?
25.
25.
Yeah.
And this happened at the same time you got the job offer, or
Yes.
after you got the offer?
Kind of like similar timing.
Similar
I
timing.
was about to fly in 2 weeks. Bought my air ticket, arranged my...
Oh man, how was it at that point when you received the news, and what was running through your mind? Like I can imagine it's a pretty unnerving, unsettling kind of news, right?
You can see me all smiling now, right? But it wasn't like this at the time. So you see, like when you have your life planned out, kind of like okay, engineering. Then now you got a job offer, and it's kind of fast track. It's kind of frustrating because I have to change all my plans. Obviously, I'm not gonna like be irresponsible and just fly off and leave my wife or girlfriend right here. So I have to stay and then face the responsibility. That means I have to give up the job offer and try to get something else done. And at the same time, I already quit my job.
I was going to ask, you resigned already?
Yes. So basically, no income at that time. A little bit of saving, not even 5-figure. So it was a tough decision. I still remember to this day, like very vividly, when I made the decision that I wanted to stay in Malaysia to face the responsibility and everything, right? I cried in my car for 1 hour, shouting, screaming, grabbing to my steering wheel like that, because I just can't believe that I make this kind of mistake that could alter my life. So I stayed. So before I really move on to look for other things, right, I actually handed my resume to one of the companies in Singapore as well. They kind of contacted me and saying that, hey, we are gonna give you a second round interview kind of thing. So I was seeing that maybe if I couldn't go to Canada, I can still go to Singapore and still be close with my family. To me, it's like a silver lining. So I think, okay, maybe I would just choose that. So I went ahead and tried for the second interview and wait for the result. It was at the point of transition, like between me waiting for the job, arranging for my marriage and everything, right? One of my senior actually called me, like Tony Yap, like my current leader right now. He's like, hey, how is Canada and everything? Because he thought that I would be going.
Was he in real estate back then, or was he?
Now, at that time he was.
Already.
And he just want to check on me, like, how are you doing there? Kind of thing, like.
Okay.
So I just told him, oh, I didn't go to Canada. Then he's like, why? I repeat the whole story to him. He's like, it sounds like you need money now.
So direct.
Then I say, yeah, I need money now. Okay, you need money, I need people.
Yeah.
I'm in the real estate industry right now and we have a hot selling property. Do you want to come? I'm like, sure, why not? I have 2 weeks of like empty space. So I went to meet him on that afternoon. It was, I think, somewhere in 2015 November. He told me about the industry, how much money I can make and everything. And I started right away. He just started to tell me about the property that we are selling, start to give me a few customer base to start.
So like cold call lah.
Yeah.
Before we jump back into this part of the story, I was just wondering, I mean, I'm sure it affected also a lot of people, like your parents and how was it like? You know,
Oh, they took it nicely.
took it
Actually,
nicely?
for them, it's better.
Really? Yeah. They keep the son here in Malaysia.
So for them, it's, oh, yeah, they're going to have grandkid and I won't be too far away.
Yeah.
I will be near to them.
Yeah.
And but the bad thing is that they don't see that I can do well financially if I continue to work in Malaysia.
I see.
Eventually, I got a job from Singapore. But at that time, I was already in the real estate industry. And I told my dad, I don't want to go to Singapore, even though the job offer was like 3,700 SGD. So it's equivalent to 10,000 ringgit.
Then at that time, were you doing real estate already?
Already, I was in. I already closed cases.
Close cases already? Okay. So it's good, right? I mean, how long did it take to close your first case?
Okay, this is, I would say I'm lucky in a sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people take maybe months. I took 3 days.
3 days?
And I closed 2 cases on the 3rd day.
Is it because the property was good, or was it because you...
I would say that it's a mix of a few things. Like first of all, property is quite easy to sell. In Penang, like 900 square feet freehold, 400,000. You know, this kind of
Price range,
is like no brainer. I would say that I was able to close the deal because I started right away. Like when Tony asked me to join the industry.
Did you have training or anything?
Yeah,
or?
on that day I started training already.
So Tony just trained you on the
Yes,
spot?
on the spot. Like, okay, let's look at this property. This is how you tell customer and everything. I didn't bring the customer myself. Tony passed me the customer. So since I already closed 2 deals, each deal, the commission is roughly my salary at the time. So 2 deals is like 2 months salary.
2 months of your Malaysian salary or Singapore salary?
Malaysian salary.
Okay.
And I just tell my dad, I think this industry can. I don't want to go.
So your dad like, reacted badly, or
He was mad.
oh shit!
He was mad. He's like, you are going to get married and your kid is coming up in like 7-8 months and you don't have a stable job. You want to go do sales. Okay, the reason my dad is angry is because earlier on I actually tried in network marketing before and I failed. Like during my engineering like career, I just tried part-time. So it's like, now you're going for sale again where you didn't do well, and I think it's very irresponsible. That's what he said. Then he even told me this thing. You are old enough. I'm not going to steer your decision. But remember one thing. If you ever need money, don't borrow from me. This is the word that I remember until today. That's what he said. I understand, because for a father to say that to a child, like, he must be extremely frustrated or disappointed or whatever.
What went through your mind when the moment he said that to you? Were you tempted to go back to your work or
No.
to Singapore?
No. I'm like, I don't need your help. Like, I'm like a lot of kids. Like,
I'll prove you wrong, right?
yeah, I'll prove you wrong. Because at that time, I already have 2 cases. I have some bargain power, I would say. The money is like there. So
But that's very interesting, because for me, I think like parents are like sometimes the rock of a lot of people. And, suddenly the parents say that, don't ask me for help if you need help. It can really shake someone's life. Like,
I'm the kind of person who don't take threat that well. So I understand his intention. He wants me to take that job. Like, because it's going to be stable and, safe and everything. But I just saw an opportunity that a lot of people don't see. Because Tony told me how he got these 2 customers. It's from social media. Then he told me, he showed me proof, like, I spent like 50 ringgit and you see there's like 50
digital
phone
marketing
numbers.
that run ads.
Yeah. I was thinking, that is kind of interesting, because back then when we do network marketing, he told me to find friends and family and stuff, like, who needs like health product and stuff. So that's why like my dad is kind of like reluctant for me to try out the industry. But I see something like we can get customer from the internet. So I don't want to let that go. Like for me, it's like, this is the opportunity.
And I think 2016 Facebook ads was still at, it's very cheap. at the time?
cheap and new and no competition. I consider myself a tech person.
Yeah.
So social media clicking here and there is not hard for me. I think like
Okay,
at the time.
okay.
So I think I can get it done. So at that point, I kind of got a little bit more confident in this industry. That's why I told my dad, I'm just gonna try this out. I have my saving. I don't need your help. I mean, respectfully, I didn't become like impolite and all. Then he say, okay, go ahead.
After that, was it like all sunshine and rainbow? Did you get a lot of leads and start closing or?
Yes and no.
Yes, no? Tell us more about it, yeah.
A lot of people don't experience this right now because they are already in the era of like mature area of real estate. You know, at that time, like when I said that the real estate is kind of hot at the time, means it gets sold out quite easily. So as an agent who wants to make money, even the property is sold out, right? So what do? We wait for the unit to be released. Like some of the client will get loan rejected and everything. I still remember one time where I tried to close more deals, but then there's no unit. I just talk to customer and say, okay, never mind, just give me a check and I'll grab a unit for you when it's available. To grab that unit, and the developer don't do online. They do a physical sticker system. So they say, tomorrow 10 a.m. we'll open the unit. So whoever comes first can get the unit. So you know what I did? I went there 12 a.m. midnight, spend the night until morning just to get the unit for my customer. And I did that like 3-4 times.
Were you the only agent doing that or?
Okay, initially I thought I would be the only one. Then people just saw what I did and just joined. Because they have their checks as well. And then they just joined. So you see like that, it was not like, like 3 days you close one deal. It's that easy. Like, no, you have to go through some kind of hardship like this. So up and down. And I didn't know like at the time like, customer after they bought, they can still choose to reject the unit. Like, as in like, my loan is rejected, so I don't want to buy.
Then they drop the whole...
then there's no commission.
How long does it take for the commissions to arrive after you...
This is the part. When I told my dad at the time, like, I have already 2 units, like, it's 2 months salary, right? Like, later that I know, it's 6 months later.
Shit. So in between, you said you didn't have more than five figure of savings, right?
No, yeah. I was living off my, of course, savings. And then my wife at the time still working. So she kind of supported a little bit of living expenses. And it's just credit card debt all the while.
Shit. This is something that I think some people may be facing. And I'm just curious, like what made you survive that 6 months? What kind of mindset that you have that allowed you to put on 6 months of winter, right?
You know, like when I say I didn't know it was 6 months, I meant that maybe it could be a year. Because that's what they told me.
Oh.
So my mental preparation was like, maybe my commission will come 1 year later. And you ask me a question like, under such tremendous pressure, how do I carry myself to do the sales?
Yeah.
I tell you, my eye only has one thing, my child. He's gonna be born in a few months' time. So if I don't work now, if I don't push myself, then I think he's the one who's gonna suffer. So that's like kind of like my motivation and everything. So a lot of people ask me like, how can I succeed? But actually, I did quite well in my first year. I did about 20 million sales in a year. It's very, I would say it's very impressive for a rookie. Right? How and why?
Five properties a month. That's pretty damn impressive. Yeah.
I would say that it's because of my kid. At the time, like every time I pick up a phone call, I think about, okay, my kid is coming. When I meet a client, my kid is coming. When the customer say no and I try to save the case, my kid is coming. So I would say that my family and my son becomes the biggest motivator for me to carry on this career.